Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello and welcome to Around the World Today, Series 3, Episode, I want to say 7, but it's actually 8, but this was meant to be Episode 7, but because of coronavirus, we're a couple of episodes all over the place. And today's topic is Micronations. We have visited this topic twice before. It's something I like to bring up every year, because I actually do have a micronation that I set up with some friends. Many years ago, about 16 years ago now. By the way, I forgot to tell you who I am. You're listening to, like I said, Around the World Today, Series 3, Episode 8, or Episode 8, and I'm Terry Davies. And, okay, so, a micronation. Micronations. I have stuff open, sorry. I am also in the moment conducting an experiment that will be relieved in 2 days' time in my next podcast. And it's all going according to plan so far. Okay, so a micronation is a political entity whose members claim that they belong to an independent nation or state, lacking any legal recognition, so it's just for fun. But have you ever heard that thing when people say, if I own my own country, or I'm going to go and start my own country tomorrow? Well, yeah, I kind of did, and there's a whole story about it, and I don't think I've actually told you the story, so I was student union president in college, and I had to learn how to write a constitution because we wanted to change the current constitution we had. It was unworkable, and it was written by someone who, really had no experience. And you could see this in the way that the functions of the offices were and how it was set out. So we decided to try it out as a micronation constitution. And then started adding and editing and chopping and changing, and this is how we come, and ever since it's still been in law of the micronation and as well adopted as constitution for a union. Don't know how that works, but legally speaking, I'm technically the king of this micronation. What's quite funny, but anyway, we're moving on. There is one thing that I've watched, and it's a micronation is really what Peter does on Family Guy. I don't know if you've seen it, when he succeeds from the union. And that's what just got me thinking when I said it's still in law in the union. Well, yeah, you can't succeed from the union in America. There are many people in America, well, around the world, that there's a micronation. There are many websites, and then you have different kinds of micronations. So, there was one, what was an old military gun turret from World War II that's out at sea. Sealand, it's called. Link will be wherever we put the links these days. But yes. Now, a small number of micronations were founded based on historical anomalies. So, like, if you're on a border in France and Spain, a micronation was set up. They're normally principalities. The last one, like I said, I was just reading saying to you, the Principality of Sealand, a World War II era anti-aircraft platform, built in the North Sea beyond Britain's territorial limit. Naughty, naughty! So it's not in British territorial waters. And because it's a structure, it's classed. It can legally be classed as having 12 miles around it. It had a private radio station, and stuff like this. There are a few of them. So I'm now just jumping. Now, there have also been Japanese micronations, Australian and New Zealand developments. Now, we're going to jump to the internet because everything we seem to do at Real Terrio lately is about the internet. Well, it's not only at Real Terrio, it's everywhere, isn't it? So, micronations with the internet have grown and their popularity has seemed to have grown because people now know what they are. You've got a computer, you can start a country. You can get people to come join, You could have legislators and stuff. My point is, people have been running micronations on the internet since the internet has come about. So, why has it taken so long for the government around the world to actually come up with things such as being able to vote online for amendments and stuff? My micronation's been doing stuff like this since 2008, when I moved to Birmingham, and we are no longer meeting every couple of months in person. So, you have to adapt. But why have governments sit still at what they're doing? Maybe we should talk about this on Wednesday's podcast because today is Monday. So, okay, so there's been some academic and media attention to micronations. It's quite good. Once again, the links will be at the bottom. There's even political unions between micronations, so groups of micronations like the UN come and join and go on. Most micronations that I've read about are taking Antarctic islands that are uninhabited and unclaimed. There are whole places and sways. One micronation that we set up when I was living in Birmingham, in halls of residence, we set the flat as a micronation. And the funny thing is, when you talk about it, I was made king and representative. The one who went to complain to the halls of residence manager when there would be a problem, like cold water, electricity going out, living in a World War II dishevelled. Well, the fact resembled somewhere to Soviet Russia, but being able to complain about that. So it was quite, you can have a micronation for different stuff. We used to pass, instead of flat meetings, we used to have meetings of the government and pass resolutions and stuff, because it was all written down. And this wasn't my idea, this was someone else's idea. And then we were talking about my micronation, and then it all just started to span from there. And one micronation of me being king of became 2. And then 2 became 3. That happens as well. And all of them are in a political union, and all of them now accede to my will. Just ever so slightly. Boris Johnson in the United Kingdom has to worry about keeping his majority. I don't. Yes. My Prime Ministers are hand appointed and can be removed at any time. No such thing as elections because they just cause distress. But hey, the last election was in 2009 and my government that I wanted to keep lost. So we changed the constitution. And I got them to vote for changing the constitution too. But anyway, I digress. So, Micronations. If you think about it, starting your own country from scratch, what would you need? What kind of emphasis would you put on life? Would you have the same kind of life that you have today? Would you increase certain laws? Would you feel that maybe we need to change it up a bit? You know, if you could start your own country and I came to you and I said, here's $1 kajillion and here's a blank legislator, here are your MPs, here are your members of the House of Lords, you're going to be king, you can start your own country. What would you do? How would you do it different from where you live today? Would you have the exact same laws? The exact same culture? Is there anything that you want to change and add? Like for us, we made Welsh, Spanish, and Dutch and English the legal languages. So you can talk in all of those languages in one conversation and it's legal. What's quite good, you can be writing in documents and stuff. We also made skateboarding illegal. However, there are exceptions, you know, and stuff like this. There was a saying because the common, or our version of the House of Commons was called the Bun, or the House of Buns. The House of Ovens, and everyone in the House of Ovens was called member of the Loyal Bun. Now, the Loyal Bun, or in the oven, because if you put bread in the oven, you're all in there together and it rises together. So the thinking behind that between us as a group, as if we're one team in the oven, so in flat, we are, you know, we will rise together and we will become a very good flat. So when it came to shopping, when it came to living together, we were able to do it as a team. They elected me as king, but it didn't mean I had any more authority than the others. Do you know what I mean? I just signed the stuff and put it on the fridge for that micronation. But, you know, it really has got me thinking. Would you do things different? I'm so interested to hear if you would do something different from this. If you had the chance of your own micronation. Would you hire Boris Johnson as your Prime Minister? Is there any Prime Minister of the UK or where you live or President that you would keep on? You know, is there government policy that you would keep? It is an interesting question. And do send me an email at terryd@realterrio.com. And for me, this is only meant to be a quick, you know, podcast, a fun one about Micronations. And I hope you're having a good day. Remember, it's bank holiday, and if I haven't spoken to you, because I haven't since Saturday, I hope you had a lovely Easter with you and your family. And I will see you again on Wednesday. Bye-bye.
This week's episode has come to an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.
Click, listen, enjoy.